Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Megillah, page 12, which discusses the beginning of the story of Megillah's Esther. As we may be aware, Achashverosh asked his wife Vashti to come before him, and as the Talmud explains, she refused because she had some physical blemishes upon her, and she was too embarrassed to come. She even disgraced him publicly, and therefore it was decided by the king to approach some of his most powerful people, his advisors, exactly what should be done. And it says in the first chapter of Megillah that what happened was there were 7 of them, and it lists them in order of prominence, namely, the most important person was written first, and so on and so forth until the last person, who was still quite important, but certainly the lowest of the 7 as far as being able to come up with advice, his name was mentioned last. And that person's name was Memuchan. And it's fascinating that the Talmud here tells us that this is actually alluding to Haman Harasha, the evil Haman, who wished to engage in mass genocide upon all the Jewish people. And the question is, why was he called Memuchan? So the word Memuchan in Hebrew comes toward hachana, being prepared, as though to say that he had already had the intention to cause problems for not just Vashti, but the Jewish people. He was Muchan for pranios, to cause problems. But the Talmud also points out, why was he the first one to speak up if he was really the last on the list? And on this, the Talmud tells us an amazing concept. Mekan shehedyot kofetz barosh. That someone who does not have levels of prominence, someone who is really not so great, sometimes those are the very people that will speak up first. Now, even though he had no right to speak up first, it actually shows his character. And we find this often. And that is that a person does not know their place. When there are other people who are of greater knowledge, he should not have spoken. But because he did not know his place, he felt there was nothing wrong with doing so. And that is an important concept in Jewish tradition as well. We find this, for example, by honoring parents. A person needs to know how to speak and to know your place. And if only we would understand this a little bit more, then we would be able to live better lives.